I want to comment about an astute question by Russell Blair given near the end of tonight's debate in New Haven. I was not on the stage, but this was asked of Ned Lamont and Bob Stefanowski. It was about corporate welfare, the state aiding certain companies. And both candidates had incongruous responses. Ned touted his help in getting a company here to Hartford. Infosys is coming with the promise of 1,000 jobs. Many of those jobs are going to be staffed by Indians. Others will be Americans doing work that many Indians do now, and they work really hard. I know this because I have properties in the Hartford area. I rent short term, 1 year, year and a half, to Indians who are working long hours for IT divisions of insurance companies and some data processing divisions. So this kind of work is not the high, intricate, or high pay that traditional unions would like to see in Connecticut. And yet they're Ned's allies, and here he is kind of touting a sweatshop. That's really what Infosys is like. Bob's response, well, it's back to lower taxes, make a good economy. When he could have made really a slam dunk about corporate welfare potentially being out of bounds. Now, here's my response. In an ideal world, it's out of bounds. But we haven't had an ideal Connecticut for the last 10 years. And it made sense when Dan Malloy offered a first 5. The results have not been great, but I think when you're flat out, you got to do something. And a lure to 5 companies that will spend, keep people in the state, and maybe bring other companies without the corporate welfare because you start an ecosystem of better companies. I think that's a risk still worth taking because we haven't climbed out of a recession. It's not even close. So if I'm governor, I am open to that form of welfare. I would do it as a deep loan rather than direct investment. So I am in favor of a lender of last resort. The state has the power to tax if things go really bad for investors who'd like to build tunnels in Hartford to ease the traffic. I was just at a forum today presented mostly by Congressman Larson. So it's going to cost $20–30 billion, but maybe investors take that on, recoup it through tolling, and the state would butt out unless the economy tanked in such a terrible level, 2008 recession-like level. Maybe the state would come in to back up and give these investors the insurance that they're not going to lose their shirts. They may lose a little. Similarly, private funds can help us build a new Merritt Parkway, not destroy the old one, an extra 4, maybe 6 lanes just south of the Merritt. State doesn't pay anything. But if things are really, really bad, maybe the state helps make investors whole. And yes, I do think lender of last resort might make sense to lure a hockey team back here. So I would use it selectively, and I wouldn't want to use it if the state had the kind of economy it did in the 1980s. Remember, I want to get back to that. Lastly, the state is a bad giver of welfare when it puts too many restrictions on the funds. Okay, if you're going to do this, let the corporations run themselves well. Please don't impose labor regulations, who you can hire, who you can't hire, how much time they're going to spend on a project. Okay, you're going to give them money, let them do what they do well so you have the best chance of a return. I'm Mark Greenstein. Russell, thank you for asking. Good night.